Good day, everyone. Good evening. How is your day? So, hope you are all doing fine. So, tonight we are going to be talking about uh, mathematics. So, tonight I'm going to be introducing you guys to calculator method and some mathematics trick. So, before we start, you have to understand something that unlike the olden days, most of the exams we are doing now involves CBT exam. And you know CBT exam is an exam that is timed. So that is why uh, there are some CBT trick that you have to know. Most of the time if you are doing CBT exam, if we are using the normal method, the normal step method, it is going to take you more time than using the trick. So that is why it is very compulsory for you to know the trick in um, in in solving questions, especially mathematics. So tonight you have to know that uh, apart from those doing jump and maybe WAEC, in which Casio calculator will not be allowed, but in most of the institutions that are doing mathematics in under level that involves CBT exams, you have to be very used with Casio calculator. One of the Casio calculator is this calculator. This calculator. This calculator is actually a magic, and you can use this calculator to solve most of the questions that involves equation question, sequence and series, binomial expansion, matrices, vector, and a lot of questions like that. So, but we are going to be talking fully about the Casio calculator in our next classes. But for tonight, we are going to focus on solving mathematics questions with trick. Now, make sure that you guys are dropping your comments in the comment section. So let's start. So guys, tonight I have 20 questions for you guys in which we are going to be solving this mathematics question using the trick method only. So let's start with indices question. And the first question for tonight is this. The question is solve 5 raised to power x plus 5 raised to power 2 minus x equals 26. Option A, 0,2. Option B, 0,1. Option C, 1,2. Option D, 1,3. So guys, we have this question to solve. The question is 5 raised to power x plus 5 raised to power 2 minus x equals 26. So we have this question to solve. We don't have calculator, and we only have just 1 minute to solve this question. And you don't know the approach in doing this question. There is a trick we can apply in solving this type of equation questions like this. Without what? Without the use of calculator or without the use of the normal step method. So what are we going to do? So guys, the first thing you have to understand is what we mean by equality sign. Guys, whenever we are talking about equality sign, whenever we are saying that something equals to something, this simply means that everything on this left-hand side must be the same as everything on this right-hand side. That is what this equality sign means. So guys, if you are not talking about this expression, we have to solve for this expression. Whenever they ask you to solve an equation, this simply means they ask you to look for the value of x or y in that equation. So this simply means that we are looking for the value for x in this equation. So how can we do that? So guys, the trick we are going to be using is that we are going to be looking for the value for x in these options, in which if I should substitute this value for x into this left hand side, I must get the same value as that in the right hand side. So let's try from this option. So let us check option A, if option A is actually the right value for this equation. So I will start with 0. So this simply means that if I should represent x as 0, I must get what is on this right hand side of the equation. So guys, let's do that. You know, that would just be 5 raised to power 0 plus 5 raised to power 2 minus 0. So if truly x is correct, then I must get this. So guys, what is 5 raised to power 0? Do not forget that anything raised to power 0 is what? 1. So this would be 1 plus, what is 2 minus 0? That is 2. So that will not be 5 squared. What is 5 squared? That is 25. So this gives us 26. And this simply shows that after we substitute our x as 0, it gives us the value on this right hand side. Therefore, in our answer, 0 is there. So automatically, if you are inside the exam, option C and option D should be deleted, because in our final answer, there must be 0. So the next thing you now want to check now is that you want to look for the value for the second value. If the second value will be 2 or it will be 1. So let's do that, guys. So let me represent the x as 2. You know, if I should represent x as 2, that would be 5 raised to power 2 plus 5 raised to power 2 minus 2. So 5 raised to power 2 is 25. Why 2 minus 2 is 0? So that would be 5 raised to power 0. What is 5 raised to power 0? That is 1. And that's equals to what? 26. So this simply means that if I should represent x as 0, I will get this. If I should also represent x as 2, I will get this. Then this simply means that the right value for x is what? Is option A, which is 0 and 2. So that is how you can use the trick in solving questions, even without you having the calculator or the what? Or the long step. So let's look at another example for more understanding. So in this example, you will also be using the same trick to solve this question. Tonight, we are going to be solving 20 questions without the what? Without the use of calculator. So the next example I have here is solve for x. Solve for x in the equation 3 raised to power 2x minus 4. 3 raised to power x plus 1 plus 27 is equals to 0. Option A, 1, 2. Option B, 2, 3. Option C, 3, 4. Option D, 4, 5. So guys, we have this question also. So in this question, you will see that in this question, there is no calculator for us to use. And also, we are doing CBT exam. And we only have 30 seconds to solve this question. If I am to be using the normal long method, it will take me like at least 2 minutes or 3 minutes before I can be done with this. But I can use the option testing method in getting my answer, even without the use of calculator. So I will just check that, okay, I'm looking for the value of x. If I should substitute the value of x into this left-hand side, it must give me this. So I will now check the options one after the other. So I'm going to start from option A. I will start substituting option A into this equation. If I should get what is here, that simply means that the value, that option A is correct for what? For this equation. So let's do this. Now, let me firstly substitute 1 into this. So that will just be 3 raised to power 2 times 1 minus 4. 3 raised to power 1 plus 1 plus 27. So I'm going to substitute the first value of option A into the left-hand side. So if it gives me what is on the right-hand side, that simply means that it is correct. So guys, 2 times 1 is 2, right? So what is 3 squared? 3 squared, that will be 9 minus 4. So 3 plus 3, that is what? That is 2. What is 3 squared? That is 9 minus 4 times 9 plus 27. Now, guys, let's do this. What is 4 times 9? That simply means that we have 9 in 4 places. 9 in 2 places is 18. So 18 plus 18 is what? 36. So this will be 9 minus 36 plus 27. So guys, what is 9 minus 36? 9 minus 36 is actually going to give us minus 27. So, and this one gives us what? 0. So this simply means that if I should represent the value of my x as the first option here, I'm going to get what is here, which is 0. So this simply means that in my answer, there must be 1. So therefore, automatically delete option C and option D. Why? Because in option C and option D, there is no 1 there. And in my answer for x, there must be 1 there. So this simply means that option A. So let's say you only have 30 seconds for the exam time to be up. This simply means that option A should be your answer. Do you get the scope? Okay, you're just new to it. Make sure that you listen very well. So now let me test the second option, because the two options must be correct before we can say that they are the correct values. So let me test for 2. So if I should also substitute 2 here, that will be 3 raised to power 2 times 2 minus 4, 3 raised to power 2 plus 1 plus 27. Now, guys, what is 2 times 2? That is 4. So this will be 3 raised to power 4 minus 4. 2 plus 1, 3 raised to power 3 plus 27. So guys, what is 3 raised to power 4? That is 3 times 3, 9, right? So 9 times 9, that is what? 81. So this simply means that 3 raised to power 4 is what? 81. 81 minus, now guys, what is 3 raised to power 3? 3 raised to power 3, that is 3 times 3, 9. 9 times 3, 27, right? So you will now do 27 times 4. 27 times 4. Firstly, what is 7 times 4? That is 28. 8 remainder 2. What is 4 times 2? That is 6. Right? Sorry, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 2, that is 10. 108. So that will be 81 minus 108 plus 27. So let's do minus 81. That is 7. So this gives us what? 0. Because 81 minus 108 plus 27 will give us 0. So this simply means that the second value for x will be 2. Because if I should substitute these 2 into this equation, I'm going to get the value on the right hand side. So option A is also correct. So guys, that is how to use this trick in solving the question. So guys, make sure you are dropping your comments in the comment section. If you have any question, let me know before we move on to the next part. So that is that. Okay? If you have any question, please don't forget to drop it in the comment section before we move on to the next part of the question. So, and if you have any problem, maybe you can't hear what I'm saying, please let me know before you move on. So that is how to do it, guys. So by now, you should know how to use the option testing method in solving questions. So what are the type of questions that you can be using the option testing method to solve? Those are the questions in which it has equality sign. Any question that has equality sign, those questions can be solved by using the what? Option testing method. So that is that about that, guys. Guys, this is the first part of the question. We have some other questions that we are going to do now. But these other questions will be different from the first 2 questions we've solved tonight. Why? It's because, you see, in the first question, on the other side of the equation, which is on the right-hand side of the equation, we only have a single value there, right? We only have whole number there. But there are some particular questions that in both sides of the equation, you are going to have a variable. So that is the type of question we want to solve now. Now, let's move on to the next question. Let's move on to the next question. But before I talk about the next question, guys, let me pin a classwork on the board. Let me put one question on the board. So you have to drop your answer in the comment section. Don't forget that tonight I'm going to be compensating 5 people with 1 gig of data. So those are the active members for tonight's class. So classwork. So the question is, solve the equation 3 raised to power 2x minus 30, 3 raised to power x plus 81 equals to 0. Option A, 1 comma minus 3. Option B, 1 comma 3. Option C, 1 minus 1 comma minus 3. So that is the classwork on the board. You can give it a try. That's the classwork on the board. That is 3 raised to power 2x minus 30, open brackets, 3 raised to power x plus 81 equals 0. So solve that question using the hints. The first person to drop your answer is going to be compensated with 1 gig. So I'm checking the comments. Drop your answer in the comment section. Okay, what is that? You only have 1 minute for that. Let me write the next question on the board. You only have 1 minute for this question number, this classwork. So we are going to be treating this now. Question number 3. That is, solve 5 raised to power 2x plus 1 equals 26. 5 raised to power x minus 1. Option A, 0, 1. Option B, 1, minus 1. Option C, 1, 2. Option D, 1, minus 2. Okay, once you get your answer, drop it in the comment section. Now, let's move on to this question number 3. Guys, in this question number 3, the question is, solve 5 raised to power 2x plus 1 equals 26, open bracket, 5 raised to power x minus 1. Now, in this question, we see that this question is different from the last 2 examples we did tonight. But this question that we have here, we can also use the trick in solving it. But the understanding you just have to know here is that the value of x would only be correct if, after you substituted the value for x in the left-hand side, you get the same answer as the value in the right-hand side. That is to say, if you should substitute the value for x in both left-hand side and right-hand side of the equation, if you get the same thing, that simply means that the value for x is what? Correct. But if you get different things, that simply means that the value of x is not correct. So guys, let's do this. So let me start with option A. I want to check if option A is going to be correct. I don't need to use calculator. I will just use my normal trick in getting my answer. So that will just be for option A. For option A, I will first step for 0. So that will be 5 raised to power 2 times 0 plus 1 equals 26. 5 raised to power 0 minus 1. Guys, what is 2 times 0? 0. Because anything times 0 is what? 0. So that will now be 5 raised to power 0. Any raised to power 0 is 1. So that will be 1 plus 1. And this is 2 equals 26, open bracket. 5 raised to power 0 minus 1. Guys, what is 0 minus 1? 0 minus 1, that is 0 minus 1 is minus 1. So that will now be 5 raised to power minus 1. Then this simply means that this will be 26 times 1 over 5. And this is 2 is equals to 26 over 5. So guys, you will see that after we substituted our x as 0, what we get for the left-hand side is not the same as what we get for the right-hand side. That simply means that the value for x is wrong. So this simply means that automatically option A is wrong. So I will just move on straight to my option B. So in this option B now, I will substitute the first value here into this equation. So now let me move on to option B. That will be 5 raised to power 2 times 1 plus 1 is equals to 26. 5 raised to power 1 minus 1. Now what is 2 times 1? That is 2. That's 5 raised to power 2. That is 25. 25 plus 1, that is 26. Is equals to, what is 1 minus 1? 0. What is 5 raised to power 0? That is 1. Any raised to power 0 is 1. So what is 26 times 1? That is 26. Guys, you are going to say that after I substituted x as 1 in both left-hand side and right-hand side, I got the same value. That simply means that in the value for x, 1 is there. So this simply means that option B, option C, option D can be correct. So therefore, we have to move on to the next value to see if truly it is option B that is correct. Let us substitute the value for option B here, which is minus 1. So let me substitute minus 1. That will be 5 raised to power 2 times minus 1 plus 1 is equals to 26. 5 raised to power our x, which is minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. So guys, this will be 5 raised to power minus 2 plus 1, and this will be 26. 5 raised to power minus 2. So this is 5 raised to power minus 2, so that will be 1 over 25 plus 1. This will be equals to 26 times 1 over 25. So if I should solve this, the LCM will be 25. This one will give me 26 over 25. This one will also give me 26 over 25. So guys, this simply means that if I should represent my second value of x as minus 1, I'm going to get the same value for both left-hand side and right-hand side. So this simply means that option B is also correct. So guys, you are going to see that in this particular question, what we are using is what? Option testing method. And in this option testing method, you will just substitute the value, the options into the equation. So any value that's any value for x that is given the same answer as both left-hand side and right-hand side of the equation, that value is what? Is the correct value. So guys, let's look at another example. Let's look at another example. Let's look at another example. Then after this example, we are going to move on to logarithm. So another example I have here is question 4. Solve 2 raised to power x plus 3 minus 15 equals 2 raised to power 1 minus x. I am to solve this expression. I don't want to use the I don't want to use the long method. So option A 1, option B 2, option C 0, option D 1 over 8. So I don't want to use a long method. I just want to use my trick in getting my answer. Now guys, let's go on. So you know what we are doing? You just substituting the value of these options into the equation. Anyone that gives us the same value, the same answer, that's the correct value. So this will be 2 raised to power 1 plus 3. Let me go for option A. Whenever I see x, I'm going to place 1 there. Minus 15. Then let me see if it's going to equal to this. 2 raised to power 1 minus 1. Now, what is 1 plus 3? Guys, 1 plus 3 is 4, right? So this will be 2 raised to power 4 minus 15 is equals to 2 raised to power 0. So guys, what is 2 raised to power 4? 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, 8. 8 times 2, 16. So this will be 16 minus 15. And this is equals to 2 raised to power 0 is 1. So 16 minus 15 is 1 is equals to 1. So this simply means that if I should substitute the value for x as 1, I'm going to get the same value for my left-hand side and for my right-hand side. Then option A is correct. That is the beauty of this trick. No calculator, no long step, nothing, just go straight to the point. Then this is why most of the students that are not that good in secondary school, when they enter an institution, they always have 80 A's in mathematics, because most of the higher institution exam involve CBT exam, in which calculator will still be what? Will still be allowed. You are going to see that what you have been doing here, sir, it does not require any calculator. It just requires a what? A little trick. And once you understand this trick, you don't have any problem. So that is that about that, guys. So guys, we will now quickly move on to the next part of the question. Okay, Oyinola Esther, you have won 1 gig for tonight because you get the question correctly. So I'm going to drop another example very soon because we have to compensate 5 people, 4 people remaining. So let's continue. Oyinola Esther, once you are done, send your details for your giveaway. Now, guys, let's move on to logarithm. Let's move on to logarithm, guys. Logarithm. Guys, don't forget that we've done the normal tutorial, the rules of logarithm, the rules of indices. We've done it before in our YouTube channel page. You are going to see it there. So now, let's move on to logarithm. So the first question I have here is, that's question number 5 for tonight. If log y base 10 plus 2 log x base 10 is equals to 3, find y in terms of x. Guys, look at this question. No option for this question. Let's say this is a theory question. This type of question are very simple. You just have to understand the normal basics. If you have this type of question, you don't even need to use up to 30 seconds before you get your answer directly. Okay, thank you for following, Taiwo. Now, if log y base 10 plus 2 log x base 10 equals 3, find y in terms of x. Guys, whenever they ask you to look for one parameter in terms of another parameter, what they're asking you to do is that, what they mean by find y in terms of x, what they mean by that is that you should make this y the subject of the formula. That is to say, let this y stand on its own. So now, find y in terms of what? In terms of x. So guys, just write solution. Guys, look at what I'm going to do. You know, this is the first part of the question. That is log y base 10 plus. This is the other part of the question. So there is one rule of logarithm that says when we have a coefficient, that coefficient can become the power. So I'm going to be using that law, which is known as power law. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring these two to other side of this question. So this 2 is going to come to the other side, and once this 2 comes to the other side, it's going to become the power of this x. So this expression will now change to log x squared base 10. Log x squared base 10. That is to say, this 2 has become the power. That is a law in what? In logarithm. So, and this will equals to 3. You can see that's the first thing I did. So the other law you have to understand is that in logarithm, whenever we have two log numbers that has the same base and they are connected together by addition, this addition can change to multiplication. So this expression here, I can rewrite it as log base 10 y times x squared is equals to 3. Guys, are you there? That's it. So it's very simple. It's very simple. So whenever I have two logarithm numbers connected together by addition, once they have the same base, I can turn these two numbers to be 1. This addition will just change to multiplication. So guys, now guys, at this point, you will see that I have log yx squared here, base 10 is equal to 3. At this point, I can use two methods in solving this question. Should I show you the two methods? Let me show you the two methods I can use at this point. Now, the first method is this. The first method is that, you know what I have here was log yx squared base 10 is equals to 3, right? I can bring this thing to the other side. That is this base 10. I can bring it to the other side of the equation. Once I bring this 10 to the other side of the equation, this expression returns to yx squared is equals to 10 raised to power 3. This simply means that whenever a logarithm base is coming to the other side of the equation, any value in the other side of the equation is going to become the power of that base. So that is why once this 10 goes to the other side of the equation, what is there originally is going to become the power of this base. So finally, what he asked me to do is to make this y formula, then my y can then equals 10 raised to power 3 over x squared. This is the value for y. This is what I was asked to calculate. So I will just divide both sides by x squared by x squared. That's it. Now, the other method I want to show you is that, you know what I have here was log yx squared base 10 is equals to 3. there is a logarithm rule that whenever we have an expression like log of a number to the same base, it will be equals to 1. So this simply means that I can, if I have something like log 10 base 10, it will also be equals to 1. So if I have something like 3 times 1, it is still 3. So if I have something like 3 times log 10 base 10, it is still what? 3. You can see this scope. There is a logarithm rule that says that log of a number to the same base will be equals to 1. So if I have something like log 10 base 10, the answer is 1. Log 9 base 9, the answer is 1. So you know I have 3. 3 times 1 is 3, right? So this means that 3 times log 10 base 10 will also be what? 3. Because log 10 base 10 is what? Is 1. So this will just turns to 3 log 10 base 10. Are you with me, guys? So that will just turn to 3 log 10 base 10. Okay, the reason why we can bring it is just because of the rules of logarithm. The reason why I can bring this base to the other side is just because of the rules of logarithm. That is how we do the rules of logarithm. You know, it is rules that has been set by mathematician. That is, this particular rule, follow it like this, do it like that. So that is why I can bring it. It is actually an automatic rule to that. So that is that about that, guys. So do you understand this expression? 3 and this are still the same thing. So I will then use the power law. That is to say, the coefficient here, I'm going to bring it to the power here. So this expression can change to log yx squared base 10 is equals to log 10 raised to power 3 base 10. So I will just bring this power, this coefficient, to become the power of the equation. Are you there, guys? So therefore, now, you will now see that in this left-hand side, I have log 10. In this right-hand side, I have log 10. This log 10 can cancel this log 10. So I will just be left with yx squared is equals to 10 raised to power 3. Then my y is equals to 10 raised to power 3 over x squared. So you can see that I actually used 2 methods in solving this. So in exam, it just depends on the method you have to you want to use, the one that is convenient for you at that time. You don't have to be proving I too know inside the exam hall, because you have to consider your time and you also have to consider other questions that you have to solve. So once you use one method, it is okay. If you want to use this, you can use this. If you want to use this, you can use this. But you don't have to use the 2 methods in what? In exam. So that is how to solve this type of simple questions like that. So let's look at another example. If you have any question, don't forget to drop it in the comment section. Let's look at another example. Now, in this example, guys, this question is very simple. And to those coming to Law Taekwondo level, this type of question, you will surely meet it in your exam. Very simple question. Let me write it down. The question is, if, that's question number 6, if log x base a is equals to p and log y base a is equals to q, find x over y. Guys, look at this simple question. The question is, if log x base a is equals to p, log y base a is equals to q, find x over y. Guys, I'm looking for x over y, right? Now, it's very simple. You know, today, in the first example of logarithm question, I told you something that you can bring this base to the other side, right? You can bring this base to the other side. That is the method we are going to use now. So let me write solution. So guys, this simply means that if log x base a is equals to p, according to what I told you, this base can come to the other side. So this base can just come to the other side. That is the rule of logarithm. Then this x will now turn to a raised to power p. Don't forget that whenever the bases come to the other side, anything on that other side is going to become the power of that base. So our x is equal to this. Also, if log y base a is equals to q, this also means that this a can also come to the other side. then y will also be equals to a raised to power q. Guys, are you there? Any question? That's very simple. It is just a law that you have to know. You have to follow. So they then ask us to look for x over y. X over y. Guys, don't forget that what is our x? Our x is a raised to power p. What is our y? Our y is a raised to power q. Guys, you can see that question is very simple. Okay, therefore, what can I do now? Don't forget this is division, right? I can turn this to a raised to power p divided by a raised to power q. So this type of question involves the use of logarithm rules and indices rule. So the indices rule we are going to be using here is that whenever we have two base numbers that are the same, and these two base numbers are connected together by division, that division can change to minus. But division will only change to minus if we have two same base number, this base when they are the same, and they are connected by division. So this will just be equals to a raised to power p, division change to minus, minus q. This is the final answer, guys. Consider the question is very simple. So that is how we will approach this type of question in exam. Whenever you see a particular question in exam, you don't have to be scared. You just have to to be able to be ready to approach it. So that is that about that, guys. Now, guys, let's move on to SURD. 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 Guys, SURD questions are very simple, but the first question we are going to be looking at today, which is question number 7 for today, that is simplify square root 18x squared square root 48 x raised to power 4 plus square root x raised to power 8. Option A, 5. Option B, 5x. Option C, 25. Option D, 25x. Guys, look at this question. This question simply looks as if it is very hard. Simplify square root 18x squared square root 48x raised to power 4 plus square root x raised to power 8. Guys, there should be plus here. Sorry. There should be plus here. It should be 18x squared plus 18x squared plus. Now, guys, look at this question. You see that in this question, we have like square root under square root. We have like square root under square root. So what are we going to do? We are going to start from the smaller square root to the what? To the higher square root. So guys, what am I going to do? Now, before I move on at all, guys, you have to understand this indices rule. That indices rule is that if I have something like root x, I can write this root x as x raised to power half. These square roots can be written as this and this, they are the same thing. So this simply means if I have an expression like root x squared, this can then turn to x squared times 1 over 2. That square root can change to 1 over 2. So this can cancel this. Hope you understand that. That is a rule that you have to know. Now, solution, guys. Guys, this simply means that I'm going to start from the smaller roots, right? I'm going to start from the smaller root. So guys, you will not permit me to say that if I have square root x raised to power 8, it can also be the same thing as x raised to power 8 times 1 over 2. So square root x raised to power 8 is equals to x raised to power 4. Can you see that, guys? Square root x raised to power 8 is equals to what? X raised to power 4. So therefore, this simply means that this expression that I have here, you know, this is the question. Originally, we have a long square root like this. 18x squared plus another square root 48 x raised to power 4 plus another square root x raised to power 8. This is the question. So I'm going to start from this smaller square root. This will just turn to 18x x squared plus general square root 48 x raised to power 4 plus x raised to power 4. Because this root x raised to power 8 is equal to what? X raised to power 4. That's it. So I'm starting from the smaller square roots to the highest square roots. Now, guys, what is 48 x raised to power 4 plus x raised to power 4? Guys, let me ask you a question. Let's say we have x plus x. What is x plus x? That is 2x, right? That is 2x. If I have 2x plus x, guys, what is 2x plus x? That is 3x, right? 3x. Okay, if I now have something like x squared plus x squared, guys, what is x squared plus x squared? That is 2x squared. So if I also have 2x squared plus x squared, guys, that is what? 3x squared. So this simply means that if I have 48 x raised to power 4 plus x raised to power 4, that will be what? 49 x raised to power 4. So this will be general square root 18x squared plus square root 49 x raised to power 4. Guys, are we there? You see that this particular question is very simple. This particular question is very simple, but if you don't know the approach, it's going to seem, it will seem somehow hard. So guys, another thing we are not going to do now is that you will now see that this expression can then equals to general square root 18x squared plus, guys, what is root 49? Root 49 is 7. That is 7. Now, what is root x raised to power 4? That is x squared. Oh, guys, any question? If you have any question, please don't forget to drop it inside the comment section before we move on to the next question. So that is that about that, guys. 18x squared plus 7x squared. Are you there? You know, that is just root 49 x raised to power 4. Root 49 is 7. Root x raised to power 4 is x squared. Are we there? So therefore, guys, you will now see that at this point, we can just do 18 plus 7. Guys, what is 18 plus 7? That is 25x squared. And the final answer, what is root 25? 5. What is root x squared? 5x. The final answer is B. You can see that question, very simple, but the solution is very demure. The solution is very demure. So that is that about that, guys. So that is how we are going to apply this type of question, or approach this type of question in exam. So let's quickly move on to the next example. Now, let me look at the next example I have here. Guys, the next example I have here is still under SURD. After SURD, we are going to move on to polynomial. Now, it's still under SURD. Can I clear up? Thank you. I know you've written it and you got the explanation very well. Okay, guys, look at this example. That is question number, I think number 9 for tonight. Evaluate 1 plus root 2, 1 minus root 2. Option A 0, option B 1, option C minus 1, option D 2. Guys, whenever you have this type of question, you shouldn't even use up to 1 second before you get your answer. You shouldn't use up to 1 second before you get your answer. You will see that once you guys resume your first semester, once we are doing our night classes and brainstorming classes, you are going to see that there will be some questions that before I call the question finish, we just see the answer straight. It's because of the trick. Once you know the trick, the solution to this type of question will be very easier for you. Look at this question. Firstly, let me introduce this question to you before I give you the hints. The first thing you have in this question is that this question is a SURD. The second thing we have about this question is that you are going to see that what we firstly have here, that is 1 plus root 2. What we have here, 1 minus root 2. You will see that the only difference in this type of question, in this question, is the sign. This one is plus, this one is minus. But the remaining parameters are the same. So whenever you have this type of question, in which the questions are the same like this, but the only thing that differs is the parameters, then guys, we are going to use the trick. And that trick is this. Look at what I'm going to do. The answer for this question will just be 1 times 1. You know what is connected together is multiplication. It just be 1 times 1. Guys, what is 1 times 1? 1. The next thing, plus times minus. What is plus times minus? Minus. The next thing, root 2 times root 2. What is root 2 times root 2? Root 4. And that is 1 minus 2. And that is equals to minus 1. This is the final answer. Guys, do you get that simple approach? You will see that, thank you, Joel. You will see that in this question, it is very simple. The first part and the second part, they are the same. They are connecting together by multiplication, right? You will just see that what differs between the two is the sign. So whenever you have this type of question like this, that they are the same, and they are connected together by multiplication, then you will just follow this approach. Use this to multiply this multiply this multiply this. So before I now move on to the next question, guys, you know, initially I say that this question is a surd question, right? So you also have got you also have to understand what we mean by conjugate. Conjugate surds. Guys, whenever you hear conjugate, don't fret. Conjugate surds are two surds which are the same, but only differ in their sign. The only difference between those two surds is the sign. The remaining parameters are the same. So you can say that this surd and this surd, they are conjugate surd. So whenever you are talking about the conjugate, what you just have to do is to change the sign. So if I say that what is the conjugate of 1 plus root 2? The conjugate of 1 plus root 2 will be 1 minus root 2. So whenever you have a conjugate surd, you just have to change the sign. And if I say that what is the conjugate of 1 minus root 2? The conjugate of 1 minus root 2 will be 1 plus root 2. So whenever you are talking about the conjugate surd, just change the sign. There will be some simple question. They will just say that what is the conjugate of dash? Don't fret. Just say that, oh, that's very simple. I will just change the sign. The conjugate of this, just change the sign. If it is plus, change it to minus. If it is minus, change it to plus. So guys, let's look at another example. Now, guys, in this example, we are going to be talking, the question is, rationalize. Rationalize, question 10. Rationalize 2 root 2 minus root 3 over root 2 plus root 3. Guys, look at this question. Rationalize 2 root 2 minus root 3 over root 2 plus root 3. Now, in this question, we have to rationalize this question. Now, we will just write solution. Solution. This is 2 root 2 minus root 3 over root 2 plus root 3. Whenever we are rationalizing this type of question, you will just multiply the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. So, guys, what is the conjugate of root 2 plus root 3? That is what? Root 2 minus root 3. That will just be multiplied by root 2 minus root 3 over root 2 minus root 3. So, therefore, guys, I can then rewrite this as 2 root 2 minus root 3 root 2 minus root 3 over, you will now see that I'm using this to multiply this. Then I will just follow the int I used the other time. Root 2 times root 2. Root 2 times root 2 is going to give us 2. Root 2 times root 2 is going to give us 2. Now, plus times minus. Minus. Root 3 times root 3. 3. So therefore, guys, this can then equals to, now I will now use this expression, this first value to multiply everything here. Now, what is 2 root 2 times root 2? 2 root 2 times root 2 is going to give us 4. What is 2 root 2 times root 3? 2 times root 3 is going to give us minus 2 root 6, because we are using this 2 root 2 to multiply this minus root 3. So that will be 2 times 3, that is 6. Then I'm done with this. Now I will then use this minus root 3 to multiply everything here. Minus root 3 times root 2, that will give us minus root 6. Then minus root 3 times minus root 3, that will give us plus 3, because minus times minus is plus. All over 2 minus 3, that is minus 1. So therefore, guys, this can then equals to 4 plus 3, that is 7. That is 7. Now, minus 2 root 6 minus root 3, that is minus 3 root 6 over minus 1. So this can then be written as minus 7 minus 3 root 6. You can bring this minus 1 upward like this. So this can then equals to minus times 7, minus 7, minus times minus, plus 3 root 6. And I can also write this as 3 root 6 minus 7. That is the answer for this. So guys, let's move on to the next part of this question. Let's move on to polynomial. Polynomial. So now we are going to talk about polynomial. And everything I'm going to be doing under this polynomial, I'm going to be using the trick. So guys, you see, academics is very simple. And it just depends on the zeal you have towards your academics. If you have the zeal that I want to know this, you will surely know it. Nobody brings it from heaven. Nobody is an island of knowledge. Now, what you just have to know is that once you want to know something, you have to keep doing that thing until you know it. And once you know it, you will have a very good result. And once you have a very, very good result, you're going to be successful. So that is the motive you have to have. You have to know. You don't have to follow the crowd. You don't have to be like, there is nothing for us. No. You just have to know that, okay, this is my part. I must succeed in this part. And if you want to succeed in this part, everything they are doing in that part, you have to know it and you have to do well. So sometimes academics might be somehow tiring, but you must not give up. You must not give up, because the future is what? Is bright. So let's move on to the next part of the question. Polynomial. No, wait, guys. Before I move on to polynomial, let me talk about SURD. Square root of SURD. Square root of SURD. Guys, question number 11. Question number 11. Okay. Find the square root of 7 minus 2 root 10. Option A, plus or minus root 5 minus root 7. Option B, plus or minus root 5 minus root 2. Option C, plus or minus root 7 minus root 5. And option D, none. None. Guys, whether you are doing mathematics in JAMB or you are doing under-level exam. So before I move on, let me ask this question. Does rationalize means use of conjugate? Joel Oluwatomiwa, yes. Yes. But you have to know that rationalizing can be of two parts. You might have a particular question like 3 over root 2. You might have to express, you might have to rationalize this. You say that in this particular question you have to rationalize, there is no plus at the denominator. We only have a single surd. So this will just be multiplied by root 2 over root 2. And this is 3 root 2 over 2. But if you have it like 3 over root 2 plus 1, we say that this one is not different from this one. So if you want to simplify this, if you want to rationalize this, then you have to multiply the denominator and the numerator by the conjugate of the denominator. That will just be multiplied by root 2 minus 1 over root 2 minus 1. Then you're going to get your answer. So that is why we can say that rationalize means the use of what? Conjugate. So you are doing fine. So let's talk about the square root of SURD. So guys, you see the square root of SURD. Yes, Joel Oluwatomila, I've answered your question. If you see a question like that asks you to rationalize, then you have to use conjugates. You have to use conjugate. So you will just multiply the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of that denominator. But if the question does not ask the other parts, if the question is like this first question, so you don't have to use any conjugate because there is no plus or minus at the denominator. You just multiply it by this, by this. But if the question is like this, then you have to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. So that is that. So if you're talking about the square root of SURD, we have methods, we have various methods in solving the square root of SURD. We have the formula method. We have to have the trick method. But guys, for tonight, we will only be talking about the trick. Don't tell anybody about this trick. You see, the trick is very simple once you know it, especially if you are doing maybe JAMB exam or NABTEB or JUPEB or underlevel exam. If you have this type of question, you don't need to use any formula. Just answer it straight. Use that trick. What is the trick? Now, firstly, this trick works for the question in the form P plus or minus 2 root Q. That is to say, there must be 2 before that root. The trick works for that. So guys, what is that trick? The trick is that whenever you have this type of question like this, and you have to look for the square roots, you will just look for 2 numbers, in which if you multiply these 2 numbers together, you will get the value under this square roots. And if you add these same 2 numbers together, you're going to get this value. You're going to look for 2 numbers, in which if I should multiply these 2 numbers together, I'm going to get a number under this square root, which is 10. And if I should add these 2 numbers together, I'm going to get this 7. Guys, now let me ask you, what are those 2 numbers? 5 and 2. Because 5 times 2 gives me 10. 5 plus 2 gives me 7. So the 2 numbers are what? 5 and 2. So guys, let me check the option. Option A, 5 and 7. Option B, 5 and 2. Option C, 7 and 5. Guys, what is the answer? Option B. So you have to be very careful that if what is here is minus, here must also be minus. But if it is plus, here should be plus. And the next thing, the higher number should come before the smaller number. That trick work for the question in this form, P plus or minus 2 root Q. Guys, don't tell anybody. The trick is very what is very direct. Let's talk about another question under the same square root of SURD. The question is this. Number 12. Find the square root of 5 minus 2 root 6. Option A, plus or minus root 2 minus root 3. Option B, plus or minus root 3 minus root 2. Option C, plus or minus root 2 plus root 3. Option D, none. So guys, look at this question. You see that the question is also that find the square root of 5 minus 2 root 6. I'm looking for square roots. What am I going to do? Just use the trick. Just look for 2 numbers, in which if you multiply these 2 numbers together, you will get this 6. And if you add these 2 numbers together, you will get this 5. Guys, what are those 2 numbers? 3 and 2, right? That's it. Now, guys, our option A, 2, 3. Option B, 3, 2. Option C, 2, 3. What they want to do? They want to confuse us. They know that we know the trick, right? So they now want to test if we understand the trick very well. And we are going to tell them that, yes, we understand it very well. So guys, you know the answer is 3 and 2, right? Firstly, once what is here is minus, in my answer, minus must be there. So this simply means that option C is wrong. And the next thing now is that whenever you want to write your answer, the bigger value, the bigger number should come before the what? Smaller number. So this simply means that the right answer will be what? Option B, that is root 3 minus root 2. 3 before 2. So option B is correct. You can see how we approach this question. So guys, whenever you are using this trick, do not forget that if what is here is minus, what should be minus? If what is here is plus, what should be here should be plus. And then the bigger number should come before the smaller number. Guys, let me give you another classwork. Don't forget that we have one winner already. We have 5 questions to solve tonight. We have one winner already. The next question now, the first person to drop the right answer in the comment section will be compensated with another 1 gig tonight. Okay? This is the question. The classwork. The second classwork. Find the square roots of the conjugate 7 plus 2 root 10. Plus 2. Option B, plus or minus 5 minus root 2. Option C, plus or minus root 2 minus root 5. Option D, plus or minus. Option D, okay, plus or minus root 2 plus root 5. Guys, that's the classwork. Just drop your answer in the comment section. The first person to get the answer correctly will be compensated. Okay? Keep dropping your answer. Once I see the correct answer, I'm going to inform you guys. So the last question under the square root, before I move on to polynomial now. The last question under the square root before I move on to polynomial. This question I want to drop now under the square roots. Okay. The question is, that's question number 12. If A root 5 minus B root 2 is a square root of 95 minus 30 root 10. Find A and B. Option A, minus 3, 5. Option B, 3, 5. Option C, 0, 2. Now, this is the last question under square root of SURD. Okay, I've seen the correct answer for our classwork. Alao Deborah. Oh no, it's not Alao Deborah. Babatunde Stephen, you chose option A. Alao Deborah, you chose option A. Oluwani Femi Olajope, you chose option B. And the right answer for this classwork is option B. Guys, you missed something out. So Oluwani Femi Olajope, 1 gig for you. Guys, you missed something out here. Don't forget that you know the skill. They know that you know the skill. But look at this question. The question says, find the square root of the conjugate. Of the conjugate. So this simply means that you guys, you have missed out the conjugate in the question. That is why CBT question is very tricky. So although you have known it, whenever you want to attempt a particular question, you have to cool down before you attempt it. So the conjugate that you have missed out, that is why you chose the wrong option. You chose option A because you just use the trick directly, but you do not consider this conjugate. I told you that whenever you are talking about conjugate, that will be the reverse of the sign. So the conjugate of 7 plus 2 root 10, that is 7 minus 2 root 10. So this question is asking you to look for the square root of 7 minus 2 root 10 because of this conjugate. So the right answer should be option B. Do you get that? So note your mistake like that. So in the next question, you must get it. So Oluwanifemi Olajope, you got this correctly. Now, guys, let's talk about this question. Let's talk about this question. This classwork, before we move on to polynomial, this classwork, this work. Guys, look at this question very well. Listen, I'm going to explain and you are going to get it. I will not use the long method, but I'm going to use a trick in solving this question. But you have to listen very well to this trick. The question is, if a root 5 minus b root 2 is a square root of 95 minus 30 root 10, find a and b. Guys, right solution. Guys, again, I want to let you know. I want you to know that whenever you are looking for the square root of SURD and you want to use the trick always works for the SURD in the form p plus 2 root q. This simply means that before you can use the trick, that SURD question must be in this form, p plus 2 root q. Don't forget that. That's the first thing you have to know. Now, the second thing you have to know now, guys, is that whenever our question is not in the form of p plus 2 root q, we can convert it back to that form. So guys, let's do this. You know, firstly, the question is 95 minus 30 root 10. So I can't use the trick directly. Because of what? Because what is at the coefficient of root is 30, not 2. But I can convert this coefficient to 2. How? Let me show you guys. That will just be 95 minus 2 times 15 root 10. Guys, what is 2 times 50? 30. Oh, do you get that? 2 times 15 is 30. So this and this are still the same. So guys, you have to be very careful on something. Now, whenever you are converting this type of SURD to this form, are you there? Now, you now see that we have to do something with this 15. What are we going to do with that 15? What we are going to do is very simple. We are going to do 2 things with this 15. The first thing is that we are going to square this 15. And the second thing is that anything we get after squaring this 15, we are going to put it under the square root. We are going to do 2 things with this 15. The first thing is that we are going to square this 15. And the second thing is that whatever we get after squaring this 15, we are going to put it under the square root. So guys, what is 15 squared? That is 225. So this will just turn to 95 minus square root 10 times 225. So I'm going to square this 15 minus, it should be minus 2 root 10 times 225. So this simply means that I square this 15. The answer I got after squaring this 15, I put it under the root. What remains at the coefficient is now 2. So this now simply means that the question, which is 95 minus 30 root 10, is the same as 95 minus 2 root 2 to 500. Guys, hope you are with me. So it is the same. Okay, we are streaming this from Nigeria. Guys. Okay, now, at this point, 95 minus 2 square root 2 to 500. You will see that this question is now already in the form p plus or minus 2 root q. Then guys, we can use the trick in solving this. We can use the trick. So how can we use the trick, guys? It's very simple. You will just look for 2 numbers, in which if I should multiply these 2 numbers together, I will get the number under the square root. If I should add these 2 numbers together, I will get this value. Guys, what are those 2 numbers? That is 50 and 45. Yes, guys, if you multiply 50 times 45, you are going to get 2 to 500. If you add 50 plus 45, you will also get 95. So this simply means that the 2 values is what? 50 and 45. 50 and 45. So guys, this simply means that the square root 95 minus 30 root 10, the answer will just be root 50 minus root 45. Guys, you can see the square root of this will just be what? Root 50 minus root 45. Now guys, you will see that I'm not at the final place already. The question is, if a root 5 minus b root 2 is a square root of this, find a and b. What I'm looking for is a and b. This simply means that I'm looking for a coefficient of root 5. I'm also looking for b coefficient of root 2. So guys, at this point, what am I going to do now? What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to simplify this root 50 minus root 45. I'm going to simplify it as root 25 root 9 times 5. Guys, hope you are with me. You know 25 times 2 is 50. 9 times 5 is 45. So I break this 50 into this, 45 into this. So guys, this can then be square root of 25, that is 5. This can be 5 root 2. Square root of 9, that is 3. That is minus 3 root 5. So guys, this is the final answer. I will just compare this answer I got with this in the question. You know, in the question we have a root 5 minus b root 2. And we also have 5 root 2 minus 3 root 5. So this means my a is 5. My a is 5. And my minus b is equals to minus 3. So a is equals to 5. B is equals to 3. This is the final answer for this question. So this simply means the answer is known. The answer is known, rather, the answer is known. Option A is minus 3, 5. Option B is 3, 5. So it should be 5, 3. The right answer should be 5, 3. A before B. So that is that in using the trick. So guys, let's move on to polynomial. Let's move on to polynomial. Okay. Now, in this polynomial question, that is the last thing we are doing for tonight. In this polynomial question, we also be using the trick. We only have 5 questions to solve here. We only have 5 questions to solve here. Then we call it a class till next time we meet. Okay. If question 14, if f of x is equals to x raised to power 5 plus 4x cubed, 4x raised to power 4 minus 6x squared plus 2x plus 2. Find f of 1. Let's look at the question. The question is, if raised to power 5 plus 4x raised to power 4 minus 6x squared plus 2x plus 2. Find f of 1. Guys, whenever you have this type of question, look at this step, just write solution. Now, you know this is f of x, this is f of 1. You will just say, let f of x equals f of 1. This f can cancel this f. Then x is equals to 1. X plus 1. So this simply means that wherever I see x in this equation, I'm going to put 1 there. So therefore, my f of 1 will just be x 1 raised to power 5 plus 4. 1 raised to power 4 minus 6. 1 plus 2. My f of 1, just literally, that's it. So this will be 1 plus 4 minus 6 plus 2 plus 2. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 minus 6 is minus 1. Minus 1 plus 2 is 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. So this simply means that my f of 1 is equal to 3. That's the answer. You can see the approach. So that is the first question we are solving on polynomial. The second question we are going to solve on polynomial now is this. The second question we are going to solve now is if 15, if f of x equals 3x cubed minus 6x squared minus 5x minus k, and f of minus 2 is equals to 1. Find k. Guys, look at this question. The question is if f of x equals 3x cubed minus 6x squared minus 5x minus k, and f of minus 2 is equals to 1, find k. Guys, it's very simple. If we just say solution, f of x is equals to f of minus 2, this f cancel f, then x will be equals to minus 2. So this simply means that wherever we see x, we are going to represent it as what? Minus 2. So my f of minus 2 will equals to 1. So therefore, this will just be 3 minus 2 raised to power 3 minus 6 minus 2 square minus 5 minus 2 minus k is equals to this one. Is equals to that one. So guys, we are going to solve this. Then if you solve this correctly, the value for your k will be equals to minus 39. The value for k will be equals to minus 39. So that's the second. Let's look at the third question. Question 16. Question 16. So the question is, a polynomial is defined as f(x minus 1) is equals to x raised to power 3 plus 3x squared minus 4x plus 2. Find f of 2. Guys, just write solution. Now, you will say f of x minus 1 is equals to f of 2. Let f cancel f. X minus 1 is equals to 2. X is equals to 3. This minus 1 to the other side, that is 2 plus 1, that is 3. So therefore, this simply means that our f of 2 will equals to wherever we see x here, we are going to represent the x as 3. So that will just be 3 raised to power 3 plus 3 squared minus 4 plus 2. If you do this correctly, your f of 2 should give us 44. So that's how you see that this particular question, f(x minus 1) is equals to f of 2, f cancel f, x minus 1 equals to 2, x equals to 3, substitute. We get your answer. Okay, let's move on to the second to the last one. Second to the last. Okay, the question is, what is the remainder? What is the remainder when x raised to power 3 minus 3x squared minus 13x minus 10 is divided by x minus 3? Now, look at this solution. Guys, you see that in this particular question, what we are looking for is the what? Is the remainder, right? What we are looking for is the remainder. So what are we going to do now? Guys, whenever you are looking for the remainder, are you there? Don't disturb yourself. You will just say that let x minus 3 equals 0. So what you are using to divide equals it to 0. So if x minus 3 equals 0, then your x will equals 3. Once x is equals to 3, substitute this x equals to 3 into this equation. Any value you get is the value of the remainder. So therefore, that will be 3 raised to power 3 minus 3 square minus 13 3 minus 10. 3 raised to the power 3, that is 27. Minus 27 minus 39 minus 10. So there, this is equals to minus 49. The remainder is equals to minus 49. So the remainder is minus 49. Okay, let's look at another example, guys. Let's look at another example. So guys, in this one, the question is, if that is 19, if x raised to the power 3 plus 3x squared minus 13x minus 10 is divided by x minus 3, find the square of the remainder. First solution. So guys, they said if x raised to the power 3 plus 3x squared minus 13x minus 10 is divided by x minus 3, find the square of the remainder. Do not forget that whenever you're looking, in this particular question, you will first look for the remainder before you look for the square of the remainder. So if you want to look for the remainder, what you are using to divide, you are going to let it equal 0. Let this x minus 3 equal 0. Therefore, x is equals to 3. So once you've gotten the value for x, the value you got for x, which is 3, you are going to substitute it into this equation. So this will then be 3 raised to the power 3 minus 3 squared minus 13 3 minus 10. Okay, so guys, now okay, this one is plus. Okay, now guys, look at this. So 3 raised to the power 3 is 27 plus 27 minus 39 minus 10. 27 plus 21, that is 54, minus 39 and 10, that is minus 49. And this is equals to 5. We are going to say the remainder is 5. The square of remainder is 25. Do you get the scope? So the remainder is 5, but the question asks us to look for the square of the remainder. So the square of the remainder is what? Is 25. So this is where we are going to stop our live streaming for tonight. So, okay, yes, Oluwanifemi Olajope, yes, you are very correct. So guys, thank you for following from the beginning to the end. So we are going to be compensating Olajope and Esther. So you guys should chat me up on WhatsApp for your 1 gig data tonight. So this is where we are going to stop our live stream for today. So in our next class, we are going to talk about more on MTH, physics, chemistry, and even biology. And very soon we are going to start our use of English class. So see you in our next video. Please do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and don't forget to share with your friends and family. Thank you. God bless you guys.